6-week glute workout. We're gonna stay high in a squat position, really trying to isolate our glutes, so we're really focusing on the squeeze at the top, right? Don't just stand and hope something happens, but actually force yourself to get active and engage and squeeze as hard as you can at the top. We're doing a pulse, so we're not coming all the way up. We're gonna keep our butt kind of contracted down to the bottom, right? And we're staying a quarter squat, so a quarter of the way up. We don't have to go down too low for this one. We're gonna take our leg, and rather than us taking it straight back, you're gonna cross it over so that you're hitting your glute in just a different direction. Step right back up, standing all the way back up to the top, and push back. When I step up, try to use this lead leg to bring yourself up to the top position, not the leg you step back with. This is the leg that we're gonna get most of the work that we're trying to isolate. From the side, it'll look pretty much similar to a normal lunge here. Notice I'm still keeping my chest right over my hip here. And when I stand up, I'm using that leg to drive myself to a standing position. From the back, we're gonna lie down on the ground. I'm gonna bring my feet in close to my hips, feet about shoulder width apart. From here, I'm going to lift my hips up towards the sky. But what I wanna do is concentrate on not just hyperextending my lower back, but I really wanna get myself engaged by squeezing my butt, and it's gonna rotate your hips forward so that when you come up to the top, you're gonna be able to feel everything through your glutes, and it's gonna take your lower back out of the equation. It's gonna keep you in a safer position, and it's gonna work your butt that much harder. So squeeze up at the top, but not to the point where you're arching your back and back down. Arms can either be elbows locked into the side here, completely flat, palms up so they're nice and relaxed, or if you want an extra challenge, take your arms off the ground and challenge yourself here without any of that base support. We're gonna bring one leg off of the ground, and you can hold it in a couple different positions. So straight leg, one option, bent knee, option two. Whatever's most comfortable and feels best for you, go ahead and do it. Arms, again, it's entirely up to you, but the more of our arms that are on the ground, the easier it's going to be to drive those hips up. As soon as I lift the hands up, now I bring a lot of other muscles into the equation. So if we're really just trying to isolate our glutes, which I recommend, let's get ourselves dug into the ground here. We're driving up and slowly back down. Keep the movement under control, not allowing gravity to just let you fall, right? Keep that muscle engaged throughout the 30 seconds and get the most work done. We'll be on all fours, hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips so you're evenly balanced. We're gonna lift up our outside leg, trying to avoid compensating and leaning too far the opposite direction. We're gonna keep our core nice and tight, lift up on the outside and slowly back down. Let's try to keep our leg off the ground for our time duration. If we do need to rest, set it down, but let's quickly get ourselves right back up there. You'll see from the side, you're going to want to obviously lean away to make life easier on yourself, but try to stay down so that you're getting the core work as well. Evenly spaced with our hands, you're gonna kick back with one leg. And what I want you to do is find the highest point where you feel the biggest pulse or contraction through your glute, and that'll be your end range. We're not moving too far from that. If you can see, my leg maybe moved 2 inches, and then I'm right back into it. It's just that small pulse up at the top, trying to keep it at that most intense point, and you're trying to hang on for that entire duration. One thing to avoid, don't arch the back. So I don't want this coming at the expense of my lower back. Probably a lot of you are more flexible than I am. So just make sure that you're coming up here, you don't feel it through your lower back, you just feel it through the glute. Trying to take as much time as possible to go down and then back up. Don't worry about how many times you get reps done. Just focus on being constantly under tension. Feet set up shoulder width apart. Open those toes up. Grip the ground with our toes, and then you are slowly descending as far as we can while we keep a nice stable base through our feet. And then we are rising up. I want minimal time up at the top, resting, and then moving ourselves right back down into the next squat. If you have any worry about bringing yourself down too low, feel free to grab a chair. Make sure you have that depth to help you comfortably bring yourself down, and then controlled right back up. All right. As you progress through the movements, time is going to increase, so you're going to be able to get a lot more out of these movements. Utilize anything around the house, your staircase, a chair, or a coffee table, something that's going to challenge you, but allow you to step up comfortably and step down from safely. Your whole foot is going to begin on the box. I'm pushing through just this leg. I'm not utilizing that back leg to step up from. This is often a big mistake when we're doing step-ups. You're stepping up under complete power through that leg, and then lowering yourself, only utilizing that leg to slow yourself down. Don't get in the habit of using that back foot to really press up here, because we take all the benefits of the step-up out of the equation. Force that leg to do the work, step up from, and then slowly down. We're going to utilize our glute and our hamstring. We're going to hinge at the waist, similar to a deadlift, and bring ourselves back up to the top. The great part about it is when you're balancing, you got to recruit a lot more muscles. So we're not just using our glute and our hamstring, but we're also using a lot of these smaller muscle fibers in our joints. Now the hinge, I'm hinging forward and I'm reaching for that toe, stabilizing myself through my foot all the way up. If balancing is an issue, rather than allowing that back foot to swing backwards, I want you to use it as like a kickstand. Putting still more of your pressure all through the front of the leg, so that's getting the work. Still hinging just like you did before, leaning over. Back is nice and tight, and then standing up, utilizing that leg. Your other option, grab a chair around the house, place it to the side of you, and then utilize it to help yourself balance and reach for that lead leg. We're gonna open our feet up wider than our typical air squat. Toes open up to the side so that we're gonna utilize a little bit more of our adductors. When we hinge forward, we're driving our chest forward, our hips back, and then we are still driving our knees out. As we go down, you're gonna feel that stretch in your groin, your adductors, all these muscles on the inside. Come down as low as you can, and then rise on up. As you rise, squeeze the butt together. All right, if you have any hesitations, grab a chair, hold on to the chair, don't give it a death grip. Just kind of hold on top, lower yourselves down, and then rise back up to the top, squeezing those glutes at the top for a nice contraction. We're gonna use the chair to sit down to and stand up from. How low the chair is gonna dictate how challenging a movement this is for you. So start high, and then as you get stronger, let's go a little bit lower. Go ahead and set yourself up, facing away from your chair. Choose which leg we're doing, right or left. You're gonna slowly lower yourself down to the chair. As you lower yourself, try to fight gravity the entire time. Don't just allow yourself to fall at the bottom and then use momentum to drive back up. I want you to be under control the entire time, which is harder than it sounds as I'm going down, and then I'm driving right back up to the top. If using the single leg at first is a little too much, use that other foot to kind of help guide you. Just tip your toe on the ground, and then bring yourself down to the ground from here, and then rise back up to the top. Setting ourselves up, feet about shoulder width apart, slightly open up at the toes. We're lowering ourselves down as low as we can comfortably, loading those legs, getting ourselves ready to fire up at the bottom. I'm trying to accelerate high as I can or as comfortably as I can, allowing myself to land softly, to receive myself in that nice comfortable position, and then I'm going right back down. Make sure you catch yourself in that soft position or receiving position. I don't want to land stiff leg. You'll feel it all the way up your spine. If jumping is a little too much for us right now, just focus on getting yourself up to about the tippy toes and then right back down. Don't leave the ground just yet. Challenge yourself as we progress. We're going to start with our feet together. You're going to step out and wide. Try to spread yourself as far as you can so you feel a good stretch on that opposite leg. Let's keep our chest up nice and tall, and I'm bringing myself back up to center. When I step out, receiving my position by allowing that hip to get pushed backwards. I want to keep my knee stacked over my ankle. What I don't want is to allow the knee to travel forward so that it gets a lot of the force here. We want to shift that weight back so that our hip is doing the majority of the work, and then I'm using it to push myself back to center. If moving ourselves out into the side is uncomfortable, start off with your feet spread, and then lunge out into that position, and then stand right back up to the top.
Great movement for our glutes and our hamstrings. We want to step on back so that we're keeping both knees at right about 90 degrees. So when we step back, we kind of have to monitor our position so that we don't step too far back, spreading ourselves too wide and losing our balance, but also not stepping too close to our lead leg, which put a lot more tension on the knee. So find that place in the home where you can constantly rock back, find your place of support, and step back down. Or if you have any hesitation, use a chair at home to kind of help with your balance. It can be in front of you. Step back and just gently use those hands to help support you. Or you can even do it from the side to kind of minimize the help from your upper body. One hand here just for assistance. Step down. You decide on how much tension you want to use through the hand to assist you, and step right back up. So we'll come back from the ground. We'll be on all fours, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. We'll bring one leg up. And as we bring ourselves up, I don't want to compensate by leaning away from it. I want to keep myself nice and stable. So that back leg, we're going to keep it at about 90 degrees. If you go and extend away from it, that's okay. But really what we want is this top end contraction where you feel the glute get nice and squeezed, you get that burn. Bring the leg all the way back, and then we're kicking at it again. Drive it up, but not to an extension. Try to kick it back up into the sky every time. We're going to set ourselves up into a push-up position. Frog hop is going to involve almost like a burpee-like movement. You're going to jump those feet up as wide as you can, sit those hips down, and then back. We're just moving back and forth as quickly as we can, moving those legs up, hopefully even with our hands. If forever we can't get ourselves that high, no problem. Jump up about midway, back down. If jumping is causing any issues, step, step, step. Try those modifications before you bring your arms up from the ground. But if you wanted to, you can grab a chair from home, set that up. It's going to bring us up into a higher angle. We can still modify so that we're going into that outside position. Or you can step up and step up. Up against the wall, surprise, surprise. So find a wall that's well reinforced at the home. You're going to set yourself up outside foot, maybe 2 feet away so that you're leaning into the wall. You're going to get yourself up in 90 degrees at your elbows and your knee. Head, I want neutral, so don't try to push your ear into that wall. What you're doing is for 30 seconds, then 45 as the weeks increase, you are pushing into that wall as hard as you can. So my outside leg is nice and tight, driving in. I'm pushing through my outside knee, and I'm pushing through my wrist. Everything in the body right now is engaged and getting tight, and we're trying to keep that tightness for the entire second duration. After we return, switch sides, do the same thing.
Save this workout and join us for the 6-week glutes workout.